Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.
Hey, I want to let you know about a fun project, if you don't already know about it, that the City of Monroe runs here in downtown Monroe. It's a turtle hunt. It's kind of a little scavenger hunt. You can come here, probably the visitor center and maybe some other spots in town have this little brochure, but you can definitely pick them up here at the Art Center. There are 10 turtles hidden around downtown Monroe, and this brochure gives you hints and a map of where they are. They're all outside. None of them are inside any of the businesses. They're all outside. We have one here at the Art Center. Some of them are kind of hard to find. Some of them are easier to find. Sometimes, sad to say, some of them go missing because people either vandalize them or take them. But there are 10 turtles, and as a history, the turtle kind of grew out of the Flower Festival. 2 years ago, at the first Flower Festival, one of our artists, Sandy Blanchard, did the poster for the festival, and she did one with a turtle and she did one without a turtle. She did one just flowers, and then she did one with a little tortoise, I guess technically, kind of sticking her head out. And the city really liked the one with the turtle, so that's the one that we went with. And then this was the poster from this year, and of course the turtle made her appearance again. So the whole turtle thing kind of dates back to the 2019 poster that Sandy created for the city for the Monroe Blooms. So they named her. They even had a contest back then on Facebook and took a contest to name her, and of course Myrtle the turtle won. So that's kind of the history, and it's just a fun little project. The turtles are about, I think, yay big. They're brass. There's a bigger one at the starting point at City Hall, and that's Myrtle. And then the babies are kind of scattered around town. And then if you find all 10, or make a good college try to find all 10, like I said, sometimes 1 or 2 are missing. We have a sticker here. So kids love stickers, even grown-ups. I've had grown-ups get very, very competitive about finding the turtles so that they could get their sticker. So when you find all 10, it's honor system. Come in and let me know, and we have the stickers here. And if you have multiple kids, you can get several of these, of course. So it's a fun summer project. Do it when the kids are getting antsy and you need something fun for them to do. There are little these QR codes, I believe, can still be found around town as well, that give you the map and give you clues to where the turtles are. And I'm trying to see if I don't see a website, but I think if you have the QR code either from one of the turtles in the city or come by and get this, you'll have everything that you need to know to find all 10 turtles and get your sticker. So happy turtle hunting. See you soon.
Woo! This show's getting hot in Walton County. If that's you right now, you may need to come to our splash park. In between Georgia, we've got water that's flying everywhere. It's going down and getting recirculated and coming back. And even if you're not in the water and you're bringing a child that's wanting to run around, sometimes if you just get downwind, you'll get some of the mist on you. So it's a great place to go. Let your kids have fun, cool off, and it's very, very affordable. We're doing it for $3 per kid, you can come out. We've got some folks that are there supervising. As long as you're 16 and up, you can bring a child and supervise them. It's a great place to have some good entertainment during the day. We're open from 4 to 6 most nights when school is in. We're open from 10 to 6 when school is out for the entire summer. The only day we're closed is on Monday. On Saturdays 10 to 6, on Sundays 1 to 5. So I hope to see you at the Splash Park, and remember, it's a great place to get out of the heat.
Good morning and welcome to the historic Davis Edwards House. This is the headquarters of the Historical Society of Walton County, and I'd like to tell you a little about the house and then a little about the people who lived here and how it came to be the Davis Edwards House. We don't have any documentation as to the exact date that the house was built. Most evidence points to about 1845, but there are some experts in Southern architecture and all who say that it might have been built in 1835. The property itself, which originally consisted of 34 acres, we can trace back to a gentleman named Benjamin Hamlin and the date 1841. It was then passed on or sold to Josiah Clark in 1844, and then he, we believe, started building the house, and in the process, or during the time that he was building it, he sold it to Judge Charles Davis, and that was about 1845 or 46. It remained in the Davis family until after Judge Davis's death, and it was finally sold actually on the courthouse square in 1882. And a gentleman named Marshall Sheets bought it, but we're fairly certain that he bought it for John Pryor Edwards, who was the clerk of the Superior Court at the time, and I think probably that Judge or Clerk Edwards didn't want to involve himself in the sale of the house, but he did want the house. So we kind of think that Sheets bought it for John Pryor Edwards, and that was in 1883. The style of the house, according to John Lindley in his book, Georgia Catalog, is plantation plain, and it has Greek and American aspects to its structure and to its architecture. The floor plan is what's called, I guess, a 3/3. There are 2 rooms. There's a hallway here coming from the front door, and then there are 2 rooms up front, and then there's 1 room back here. So it's an L-shaped house, and there are 3 rooms over 3 rooms. One of the unique features is the fact that the stairway in the hall here goes up to the 2 rooms upstairs over the front rooms, but the room upstairs in the back is not connected to those rooms and has a separate stairway in the back room back there. This is the back room, or I think we call it the morning room, and this stairway goes to a single room upstairs, which is not connected to the 2 front rooms upstairs. There was a period of time when this staircase was taken out, and the room above me actually had no entrance. There was no way to get in the room, and there was a period of time that this staircase was taken out, and the room upstairs actually had no entrance. Unless you put a ladder up and crawled in the window, you couldn't get there. Well, around 1970, when the Historical Society gained possession of the house, Anita Sams, who wrote our county history, Wayfarers in Walton, brought her good friend, Wiley Folk St. John, who was from Social Circle and wrote children's books, just to tour the house. And she told her the story about the room not having any way to get in it, and Wiley Folk St. John wrote this children's book, Uncle Robert's Secret, which is about a secret room. Now it doesn't refer to this house, so that was just the idea she got was from touring this house. So the exterior of the house is clapboard, except under the porches where the boards are like these on the wall. They're flat, they don't overlap. And let's see, there are 3 end chimneys and a brick foundation, and originally all of those were stuccoed, and then they were etched to look like stone. There are 2 shed porches. Now, this area in here has changed a lot because we put in a kitchen and a bathroom, which are not original to the house. But I will show you this, which is a picture of the exterior of the house when the Historical Society got possession of it. And you can see the porch at the bottom had been extended both ways, and there had been on the rear, all this screen, that area right there was screened in, and a kitchen added to the side of the house back here. And all that is gone. The only exterior building we have now is the brick building back here, which we don't have a clue what that is. There's a lot of speculation about what it might be. We call it a law office. It's got a large fireplace and could be a kitchen, but it seems to be too far from the house to be a kitchen. And it could be a slave house, but not many people built brick homes for their slaves. So we just figured, since both of the men that lived here were in the law business, that maybe it was a law office. Now let's see. I'm going to tell you a few details about the interior of the house that you can check out as you walk around. But most of the rooms, all of the rooms, are square. They're about 17 by 17, and there's wainscoting in every room. Now, we don't have the upstairs open today. It's really hot up there, but the ceilings up there are not as high as these, and the wainscoting is also lower to, I guess, to balance that out. The doors are a unique design. In this part of the country, most doors were what they call cross and Bible. They had three double panels where there was a cross at the top, and then 2 panels like that, which were supposed to be the open Bible, but these are not. And most of the doors are original, and the hardware, which is from England, in most cases is original. There are 6 mantelpieces, one in each room, and they're all unique. And let's see, the room that we were in, the parlor, has 2 columns, and we think that those were probably factory made. But other than those 2 features, most of the other features or most of the other mantels appear to be carpenter made or handmade. The walls, as you can see, are mostly boards. There are plaster walls like that room there, and that, of course, is the dining room, and that's the only ceiling that's plastered. The rest of the ceilings are boards. And that also has a medallion in the ceiling, which is original to the house. The windows are what's called 9 over 9, 9 panes over 9 panes, and a lot of them, as you can see through this window, are the original blown glass panes. Now, some of those have gone by the wayside and been replaced, but for the most part, that's what they are. The house is put together, we think, entirely with pegs and tenon and mortise, and that was determined when they restored the house, which we'll talk about now. And I've already mentioned to you Charles Davis. Charles Davis came to Monroe he was born in Vermont in 1796, and he came to Monroe sometime in the 1820s, and he really didn't have anything except what clothes on his back, maybe a saddle bag or something like that. He was a lawyer. Well, there were 2 groups of people that lived in Monroe in the 1820s. There were lawyers and judges, and there were criminals, and that was about it. So if you were a lawyer, it was a good place to be. You could make a good living, and he did. After he'd been here about 2 years, he actually was elected to the legislature, and the state legislature, and became a lawyer. He bought a lot downtown and had a law office there. That lot, his office burned. We had a huge fire in 1857 that burned the whole block in front of the courthouse over there, and he lost his law office in that. Was able to save some of the books and all. The property remained in his name, as I mentioned briefly, until he passed away. And some of his family moved to Walnut Grove, but most of them left town, and the property was sold. He was married to a lady named Mary Patella, and when he died, when Judge Davis died, he was buried on the property. We don't know where, but somewhere. Now, I tell you, there were 34 acres of land back then, so he could be just about anywhere. And the Methodist Church, I don't know how familiar you are with town, but there are 4 houses that have just been built on one lot over here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the Methodist Church was originally there, and they had a cemetery. Y'all live on anyone else?
It was two of the houses.
Oh, well, there you go. You probably got Judge Davis in your basement.
Explains so much.
But the Methodist Church had a cemetery, and the story goes, that probably kind of led to the cemetery, the city cemetery as it is now, and that Judge Davis could have possibly been buried there. But we have the young lady who located that letter for us is a go-getter when it comes to cemeteries. I don't know if y'all have kept up with the restoration of the African American cemetery on Alcova Street, the Zion Hill Cemetery, and she's doing all of that, and she restores tombstones, and she has ground radar, so she's determined to find where Judge Davis is. So if you see her headed for your house, but he is buried here, and we think his sister-in-law there is here's the deal, is they moved their tombstones. And this all happened when they started dividing this land and cutting streets. This William Street, of course, wasn't here. It was actually called Davis Alley for a long time. But when they started subdividing the land, then they moved their tombstones, but they didn't move the bodies. So the tombstones are in the cemetery over there, but Judge and his sister-in-law somewhere out here. All right, so they, as I said, Davis family remained here until 1882, and then when they sold the house at the courthouse, it sold for $2,400, and as I mentioned, Marshall Sheets bought it and then gave it to John Pryor Edwards, and at that time there was still 5 acres with the house. John Pryor Edwards was a unique individual. He was clerk of the court for 33 years, and as his office required, he wore this black robe, but he took it seriously apparently and wore the robe everywhere. I don't know if he slept in it or not, but every time you'd see him on the street, he had that robe. And he didn't get along well with the sheriffs, which you need to if you're the clerk of the court, but they didn't see that eye to eye. He married Catherine Jane Johnston, and she was called Miss Jenny, and she came here from Pennsylvania to teach school. They had one son, Benjamin Edwards, and actually he's one of the few that we have a picture of. Benjamin is on the bandwagon here, playing the tuba in the top hat. The circus went bankrupt in Monroe in the 1880s. And they sold everything the circus had, including elephants, on the courthouse square. Wow. And 2 men in Monroe bought this bandwagon so that our brass band would have a wagon. Do y'all have a copy of Wayfarers in Walton? Great story in there about the gentleman that walked the elephant to Atlanta so it could be put on the train and taken to Chicago, where the man who bought her name was Empress. Well, I have no idea where I left off here now. Okay, Miss Jenny taught school. They had one son, and when John Pryor died, or actually before he died, his son bought the house. And Benjamin was a lawyer also, and he served as mayor of Monroe in 1888 and 89. And he was one of the original stockholders of the Walton Tribune, which was chartered in 1900 and is the oldest business in town that still has the same name. Okay. He married Mary Neal Walker in 1881, and she was called Molly. I don't know why. Maybe Molly's name for Mary. I don't know. And anyway, she was called Molly, and they had four children. Three that lived to adulthood. Miss Mary, whose picture is in the parlor, and who lived, of their children, she lived here the longest. And Edith, who really never lived here, she would visit every now and then. And John Pryor Edwards II, who was the last of the Edwards family to occupy this house. And then after that, Mary lived here until 62, and then John Jr. lived here until 69, and shortly thereafter, the house was purchased by Jerry, whose portrait is right behind you on the wall there, and his wife Betty Forrester. Betty is still our secretary for the Historical Society now, and it was deeded to the Historical Society at that time, and decision was made that we would try to restore, I say we, I was not here then, but I am now, but that we try to restore the house to the Judge Davis period. And so that's what's done. All this was taken off. Of course, we had the kitchen and the restroom, but everything else we tried to restore to the way it was during that period of time. There are two items of furnishings that are original to the house, and one is the piano in the parlor, which is the oldest piano in Monroe and was the first piano in Monroe, as far as we know. And the portrait over the fireplace in the parlor, which is Mary Edwards, Miss Mary, the last lady to live here, that's her great-grandmother, and we don't know her name, but we have a picture of her. All right, so that's about it for what I know. If you have questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
What do they do for overhead lights or anything in here?
We have these period floor lamps.
I see the light switches.
Yeah, well, that light, and I just told Paul this a while ago, when I first got on the board, I came up here to open one night and I was trying to find a switch to turn that light on, and it's kerosene, doesn't have it.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist, they'll put you in the spotlight. Welcome to Focus. This segment is an opportunity for us to focus on what matters with people, places, and things. I'm your photographer, Darrell Everidge.
Families used to come out and they would take care of graves and they would picnic. You know, after church you'd come out and you'd eat after church and you'd clean the graves and you'd put flowers out, and it was just a traditional thing, and you'd talk about your loved ones that were long gone and you'd tell stories. It was just your tradition, and it's kind of fallen by the wayside. I think people move off. You know, children move away, they move to other places, and the graves just fall into disrepair, and people forget where their family members are buried. I decided I was going to show my friend Bill Owens a grist mill that I was interested in, and we drove out to see the grist mill, and on the way back, he said, I think you would like to see this cemetery. And so he showed me a cemetery that was right across the street from where I lived, and I could not believe I had lived there for that long and I had never seen it. I was shocked and appalled. And so I saw it, and we looked at it for a few minutes, and I went home, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So a few minutes later, I decided to amble back over, and I walked all the way through it, and I started taking pictures, and then I called him back up, and I said, "Oh, well, look at this, look what I found." And I got so excited about it, and then I said, "Well, we have to do something." And so then from then on, it was kind of game on. So then I guess it was every other weekend, we were in there cleaning and pulling briars and just working away. Just clearing vines and cleaning gravestones, chopping down trees. And, it's just been a discovery of gravestones and plants, and it's been fun. But meeting people, it's been different people coming out every other weekend. And sometimes it's a good group of people. Sometimes it's no people. It might be a lonely weekend out there, but sometimes it's a bunch of people. It just depends, but you can't give up. You just got to keep at it. I would like to see the cemetery in the name of the city of Monroe, and that's something I really would like to work toward. And I don't want it to be an added expense for the city. I don't think it would be. I just think that it needs to have a place, so that it just never happens again. A caretaker, if you will. So if a tree does fall, that something will be done about it, or if the vines start to grow crazy. And I'd like to keep our stewardship group going. Where we come out. Right now, we're coming out twice a month. I think once everything is as it should be, we can cut back to maybe one time a month just to cut vines, spray a little Roundup if needed, those types of things. But I would like to see it, in the name of a certified entity like the city of Monroe. And I think that it was good that they were placed here to identify it as a cemetery. I think that was a blessing. And as we move forward, I really want to repair all the broken markers, find where all the graves, the probability of all the graves are, and, place some type of, small marker on all the graves, something that's not going to rot.
I've known about the cemetery for years. I did not know the history of it. I knew it was an African American cemetery, and I knew that it was abandoned, so to speak. And I told her about it, and she had looked at it, and I think about a week or so later we went back over there and we tromped through all the weeds and through everything, and slowly started gathering history on it and figuring out what it was and who was there and what it was all about. And I'd heard so many myths and half-truths, and you just get this local folklore type thing going on within the community, and it was like, well, let's dig into this. And so it was absolutely fascinating. From there, we ended up going to the county courthouse and going through the archive records and seeing how this all came about. And there was a lot of things that people thought or believed that just weren't true. And it's just a wonderful story of how this church came about and how it was founded and how the cemetery came about, and how they moved, and then it was just kind of forgotten for a while. And so it was really nice to uncover this piece of Monroe history that we could just share with everybody. And I've absolutely enjoyed the entire journey.
This past week's been really great because we could finally see the buildings, finally look over that whole vast expanse, and you can see all the way to the other side. And before, you would look and it would just be a jumbled mass of plants and you couldn't see anything. And now you can see to the other side. You can see the light. I feel like preservation is of value because it unites all people. This preserves cultural heritage, and I think that that's important this cultural heritage is important not just for the African American community. I think it's important for blacks, whites, people of all color. I think it's important not just to remember the past, but it's important for people of today, but it's important to people for the future too. We've got to think about, not just ourselves, but for the people of the future. We've got to preserve this for ongoing generations, I think so.
The original thought that's just evolved from the very beginning was, hey, let's just clean this up so people can see it, so someone else can come in here and see what's going on. And from there, that journey has just taken us to learn what this really was and who was really here and the people that were buried there. It's pretty unique, and I still find it fascinating when you can find these graves that we literally are just finding. You're just digging through this forest of underbrush and growth, and you happen upon a grave, and you can find someone that's been lost, so to speak. And that in itself is so rewarding, just to find that and discover that.
And if you don't preserve these stories, they're going to disappear, and I think it's important. But I think by preserving these stories, we're helping to create new stories. I mean, don't you think? I think it helps us shape what's to come.
Monroe is probably one of the most unique places, and we have such a rich history, and it goes back and forth. And the more you read into the history of Monroe, the diversity that you have here in this community is quite unique in itself. You can definitely look at the other communities around us, and it's just not the same.
We can do a lot of things with this cemetery. We can preserve this space, but I think we can preserve many more things in this community. And I think not just with this community, I think other communities, can look at this and they can do bigger things in their communities. I think, doing one thing can ripple across other communities. I believe that.
Monroe Country Day School's mission is to inspire every student to have a passion for academic and personal excellence through creative learning, independent thinking, and selfless service to others. Students are exposed to the local community and provided opportunities for independent thinking.
What will you do with all the dirt?
Some of the dirt you see has been hauled over here because they're going to have to build the finished floor, the elevation of the building, so that it's got to have the right kind of soil that will compact and tighten up for the footings of the building.
Monroe Country Day School values the whole child. Therefore, we believe in a holistic and integrated approach that involves the development of the student academically, personally, and socially. Monroe Country Day School believes that creative learning produces independent thinking and fosters a love of learning. Excellence is applied to all that we do. We strive to foster students that are pursuing strong academic and personal excellence. Project-based education is integrated into our curriculum.
When we go back in the classroom, we need the combined weight of you guys because we've got to figure our bridge, our mass bridge weight ratio, okay? You got to figure out how much weight it was that finally broke your bridge, okay?
We need a scale for that.
And then on Monday, we're going to redesign. We figured out where some of our flaws are. We're going to spend another week redesigning, all right?
Monroe Country Day School offers personalized education that begins with the personal knowledge of each student academically and each student's personal story. We believe that taking personal responsibilities for one's academic and personal choices produces strong, independent, capable, and confident citizens. Students are taught responsibility for self, peers, and community. Through service to one's peers and community, an equipped leader finds personal growth and fulfillment. We facilitate this leadership through providing experiences of service. Respect is the basis for good dialogue, independent thinking, and mutual enjoyment of life lived in community. Monroe Country Day School is designed for families who see the value of educating the whole child. Monroe Country Day School will reach its mission by maintaining small class sizes, offering project-based learning and a high-level curriculum, and by providing service opportunities in an aesthetically pleasing environment. Monroe Country Day School has positioned itself to produce a community of young people who are strong in mind and character and living as contributing members in their community. For more information, please contact Mandy Wellington, Admissions Director, at 770-267-8955.
I'm a huge Bill Withers fan, and this is just one of the songs I really adore and really get into and love to sing. Use Me by Bill Withers. All you wanna do is use me. But my answer, yeah, to all that use me stuff, I say I'm gonna spread news that if it feels this good getting you, oh, you just keep on using me. To use me up, to use me up. My brother, yeah, sit me right down and talk to me. He told me, yeah, I'm not letting you just walk me. And I'm sure he meant well, yeah, but when our talk was through, I said, brother, if you only knew you wish you were in my shoes, oh, you just keep on using me. To use me up, to use me up. Well, sometimes it's true, you really do abuse me. You get me in a crowd, high class understand the way you using me, 'cause I sure am using you. Do the thing you do. Do the thing you do. Oh, do the thing you do.
The mission of Project Renewal is to provide the support and services necessary for families and individuals in the Georgia counties of Rockdale, Newton, and Walton to live in a violence-free home.
Hopeless. I felt no way out. I felt trapped. This person I allowed into my home, around my kids, ultimately started to, in the beginning, started to quickly disconnect me from anybody that was close to me, as far as family, friends, acquaintances. They became none very quickly. So that was my first telltale sign that it was not okay. It was him isolating me from everyone that I loved or that cared about me. As far as the domestic violence, it became physical very early on. It became very emotional and mentally abusive very early on. I saw all these things but did not act on them for whatever reason. Project Renewal was a life changer for me. Honestly, they gave me peace, a sanctuary, a place of solitude that I could come to. And I didn't feel threatened. I felt at peace every moment that I was here to do personal inventory on myself. I had the space to do that so that I can take care of me, because ultimately there was something underlining that made me continue to stay where I was at. And they gave me the opportunity to do that serious soul searching to find out exactly what I needed to do to better myself and to change my life and the patterns that I continued over and over. They gave me many resources, to say the least. They were always my biggest supporter, whether it be for housing, for food, for moral support. They were there. They gave me every resource that I needed to obtain to better myself, to change my situation, and supported me. That was the biggest thing.
Well, Mid-Georgia Soaring has been here on this field at Monroe for over 50 years, so we consider ourselves part of the Monroe community. We appreciate the support of the city government. We share the field with skydivers and other general aviation aircraft. We have a 4-aircraft club of club aircraft, 2 two-seaters, 2 single-seaters, and we have a number of privately owned ships as well. We offer instruction for some pilots to get their glider ratings and check out new members. And we have a lot of fun out here. You know, it's all aviation, and we are licensed by the FAA. Our aircraft are registered by the FAA, so safety is very, very important to everything we do. So we treat this with a lot of respect and courtesy with the other airfield users, and we try to teach those habits and good procedures all through this. So that's really it in a nutshell. We're getting ready to go fly. And I've got a number of students myself today that we're all working on to achieve our training goals. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and the public is welcome to come out sometime and take a look at what we do. And again, we just want to be good neighbors here at Monroe.
I couldn't really tell you why. I've always wanted to fly. I'm in a adventure kind of person where it's mountain climbing or scuba diving, but flying was always the ultimate to me, just because it seems like something, this is what birds do and eagles do, and that, you know, men can do it is kind of amazing. So when I was in college in my 20s, you know, my parents would give me food so I could eat, and I gave every bit of the money to the local flight school that's in College Park, Maryland. You know, so I had bagels and cream cheese, you know, to eat for years. And I got my pilot's license by fixed wing, you know, powered engine airplane when I was 22, and I've been flying ever since then. I only recently started out with the gliding because it was a new thing to try, and I heard about this group and came out here maybe 3-4 months ago. So I'm in the middle of getting my, what's called a commercial add-on, my glider rating.
One of my golf is ready to take off. Let's go.
So I went up the first time and I thought two things. I thought, one, this isn't going to be that much fun. I mean, it should be less fun with no engine. And number two, you know, how scary is this going to be? You're towed up and they drop you off and you have no engine. That's literally what I thought. I'll go once. I'm probably not going to like it, but I can check it off my list and not worry about it. So I'll tell you, from the time we got dropped off at 2,000-3,000 feet, I was shocked. It was the fact that you have no engine. Number one, it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's a whole different experience. The glide ratio, not to get technical, in a fixed wing plane that I fly is 2-to-1, meaning you go 2 feet forward for 1 foot down, or 2 miles forward for 1 mile down. On this plane that you see in the background, it's 34-to-1. I mean, think about that. It's like 15 times better glide ratio. So they drop you off and you don't fall out of the sky. You glide around and then you go up when there's winds and thermals. So literally from the first minute, I was a complete, believer, and I signed up that day for the club, the Mid-Georgia Soaring Club, and I've been coming every weekend that I can since. It's really enjoyable.
You may not know my name per se, but I'm definitely sure you've seen my work. I've worked with artists of the likes of Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Katy Perry, Rihanna, The list goes on and on and on. I've been in Alvinelli American Dance Theater. I've been on Broadway. I've done several movie, TV shows. But I'm here now in Atlanta as the founder of Anthony Burrell Center for Dance. I knew that dance was going to be a part of my journey when I saw a video of the Alvinelli American Dance Theater at the age of 14. And from that moment, I knew that's exactly where I wanted to go. Because I saw dancers that looked like me, that were my same skin color, were my same height, that looked like my father. And I just realized, hey, you know, all the images that I've ever saw of dancers were always different from who I was. And when I finally saw Alvinelli, I knew immediately that that was going to be my dream job. Being able to see my work on some of the biggest stages in the world, like the Super Bowl, Madison Square Garden, Wembley Stadium, all over the world, it's a dream come true. You know, as a kid from South Philadelphia, I never fathomed that I would be able to work with a Mariah Carey or choreograph for a Beyonce or win an MTV award per se, you know. Those are all dreams that have come true, and it's been all through dance. So to sit back, and sometimes I'm still in awe, you know, of some of the things I've done. Yeah.
Let's read I'm Big Enough. It's by Amber Stewart and Lane Marlowe. Let's read. Bean was big enough. She was big enough to hop all the way around Stickleback Pond without stopping. She was big enough to go dandelion picking and to choose the juiciest ones for Mommy to cook. Bean was even big enough to swing the highest of all her friends, so high her giggles could be heard over and beyond Bluebell Wood. So high her tummy tumbled as she flew up. She was big enough to do all these things. But was Bean big enough to stop taking her blanket just about everywhere she went? No, said Bean. I love my blankie. Maybe you could try doing things without your blanket, said Mommy and Daddy gently. Yes, blankets are for babies, said Bean's big brother. No, they're not, said Bean. So Bean made a plan just in case her family decided to take her blanket away. She called it the Keep Blankie Forever plan. Early in the morning, Bean set out to hide her blanket in a special secret place. It wasn't on the edge of Stickleback Pond because the frogs might find it. It wasn't between the branches of Thunderstruck Tree because the birds might take it. It wasn't buried in the soft earth because the mice might want it. Bean was just wondering if she would ever find the right spot when she saw a hollow log hidden by overgrown bushes. Bean hid her blanket deep in the hollow log and hurried home. She was happy all day knowing that the blanket was safe. But when bedtime drew near, Bean wanted her blanket. She had never had a bedtime without cuddling her blanket, and she didn't want one now. So Bean set out to her secret hiding place to bring her blanket back home. The woods looked different in the early evening light. All the hollow logs seemed the same, and now Bean wasn't sure which one was her hiding place. Was her blanket in that hollow log? Or that one? Or that one? Oh no, cried Bean. My plan didn't work. I've lost Blanky. Poor Bean had no choice but to return home blanketless. And close to tears, she saw Mommy. Bean, where did you go? Mommy asked. To look for Blanky, sniffed Bean, but I couldn't find it. Bean's family was very kind about the lost blanket disaster. Daddy read her 2 extra bedtime stories, and Mommy made her hot milk to help her sleep. And Bean's brother lent her his second favorite teddy bear. Bean didn't like her first bedtime without her blanket. She didn't much like her second or third either. But soon, looking for her blanket turned into looking for ladybugs and 4-leaf clovers and making the very best hideouts and going hollow log sledding until Bean had forgotten all about her blanket. One windy spring day, a long time later, Bean and her friends were chasing dandelion seeds in the sunny part of the woods when she saw the strangest thing. Bean looked at the tiny baby fox and knew now that her mommy was right. She really was much too big for her blanket. The end.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist, they'll put you in the spotlight.
Woo! This show's getting hot in Walton County. If that's you right now, you may need to come to our splash park. In between Georgia, we've got water that's flying everywhere. It's going down and getting recirculated and coming back. And even if you're not in the water and you're bringing a child that's wanting to run around, sometimes if you just get downwind, you'll get some of the mist on you. So it's a great place to go. Let your kids have fun, cool off, and it's very, very affordable. We're doing it for $3 per kid. You can come out. We've got some folks that are there supervising. As long as you're 16 and up, you can bring a child and supervise them. It's a great place to have some good entertainment during the day. We're open from 4 to 6 most nights when school is in. We're open from 10 to 6 when school is out for the entire summer. The only day we're closed is on Monday. On Saturdays 10 to 6, on Sundays 1 to 5. So I hope to see you at the Splash Park, and remember, it's a great place to get out of the heat.